All right, we are all set, Rachel.
Yay. Okay, I'm assuming that you are muted yourself. Great. Hi, I am Rachel Frederick. Sorry, let me move this on my screen really quickly. Okay, you can edit that out, Marcy. Okay. Hi, thank you for joining tonight. Again, I'm Rachel Frederick. I am a new leader here with Team Courageous, and I'm so excited to share with you a message that was placed on my heart in conversation, something that you can use, refuse, or pass down to your own team. So I hope that you can get something out of this time we spend together. Who am I? So I am new to Beachbody. I am a tiny baby of only 7 months, and that's huge and scary all in one sentence. And you might say, and I thought this myself, is why am I here speaking tonight? Like, who am I to teach you anything? Because, 7 months, that isn't, you may think nothing of that. But just to share a little bit about my background, I draw on my experience from 2 decades of being a director and coach for young women. So I worked in the dance industry and education field. I studied at the UW, majored in dance with a focus in anatomy and nutritional science and education. So I have a huge background in that. Being a director brought opportunity for me to develop and train upcoming leaders within my students and coaching staff. I also advanced our overall team success by implementing technical development and individual growth mindset practices, which, if you think about it, that's everything that we're doing here. So I am also blessed with an inspiring family, and I come from a line of strong leader women who have led in our community and love being of service to others. And I have been so lucky to follow in their footsteps and to carry that blood in me. So I feel like it is innately who I am to be a leader ever since I was young. And this all comes together in exactly the right timing. And I am in this place because I know I have so much to offer. I have gained experience that I feel is shareable and transferable to others. This opportunity tonight is to show you, yes, you, even the brand new coach, that your voice matters, that you have an innate perspective and experience that is worth sharing, not only on your personal social media, but within our team. And that the beautiful meshing and layering of those experiences create this beautiful picture, and you are worth sharing that innate voice and perspective that you have. So with that being said, I just wanted to share a little bit about a recent experience before I kind of go into the training. My story is in another video, so if you're really curious about me, you can go and find out more in our YouTube. I'm sure it's there somewhere. I had been hit really recently with the idea of either it was time to bow out or stand up. And that's hard to come to. After 7 months of trying something, the last thing you want to be is be proved wrong. The last thing you want to do is look like a fool and look crazy and quit something, right? That is what had been my downfall in every single year before. I would try something, it wouldn't work right away, and I would just be like, okay, enough with that. Our amazing team has shown me that I can dig my heels in and that it is worth going for, and that this experience has really proven to me that this is what I'm made for. We have been having our own financial issues. And for years, I depended on my husband to provide for my family, which he did beautifully. And I got really comfortable having that be okay. And with a new experience, we moved, life happened. It got to the point where I was in a different place, where I saw this opportunity in the business in this thing I'm in right now that I'm really trying to do, that I'm dreaming of, that I have goals for, that I see as this thing far away in this time when it happens, that I didn't want to wait for that anymore. I didn't want him to feel pressured to bring me the happiness, to bring me things or to do things for me or to make enough money so that I could reach my potential, so that I could have the things that I wanted. And one of those big events is Summit. And obviously it's a huge financial obligation to fly across, the ocean. And I had the overwhelming feeling that this is something that I wanted and I want to work for that. And I was done relying on someone else for my happiness. Now, I say that very with like asterisks. I've been married for 17 years. We've been together since high school. I've always been dependent on him. He is the person who is my other half, and he knows whenever I need him, I am there, and he will do everything that he can to make sure I am happy. But I was ready to stand up and to say, I want to make my own right now. This is it. This opportunity, you can always start. If you were in it before, you can always dig in today and choose and say, you know what? I want to make that dream a reality right now. So I decided to not give up. It really proved to me how much I wanted this for the little tiny idea of losing that one thing. So you may have been here 7 days, 7 months, or 7 years. There is power in perspective, and knowing that your voice has value and that you were called to this in even the smallest way, there is a reason why. And we are going to get working on your why. So that was just a little perspective on where this came, how this was set on my heart, that let's build that why, that ever-changing, beautiful story, and that ever-changing, dynamic thing that brings you to where you are today. And we're going to kind of do that together. So I'm going to share my screen because I love to do that. I'm very visual and creative, and I'm going to get through this material so we can be on our way. You ladies have places to be. So I'm going to share my screen just a second, give you 2 minutes. I hope that you can connect with this and that this is something that you feel like you can bring to your team or, use and develop and continue to use. I did this with my initial coaches because a lot of the time we're just sitting deep in our now and we're trying to type out a post that's effective and it's all jumbled up. And I just wanted to give you a way to break down and build your why. So we're going to do a little work with me. So if you get a piece of paper and a pencil, you have 10 seconds while I share my screen. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, yes, 4, okay. That's my husband laughing in the background if you see him. Okay, sharing my screen. Yes, good. I saw you racing to get your pen and paper. Okay, so here's my share my screen. I'm gonna make it large. Okay, look at our beautiful Marcy. I stole your photo. Okay, we're gonna work on our struggles and success. So making your story, writing your story, crafting your story. Remember, words are powerful and they should be chosen wisely. So we're going to use our timeline that is innately yours. Everyone's timeline will be different to authentically share. Okay, so we're going to build our timeline. The main thing to remember is you. You are not just one picture. You are a multifaceted, beautiful gem, whether that is an emerald or a diamond or wherever you may be, and you sparkle from all different angles. So think about those things. There's so much training and tremendous training on who you are and finding your goal and why you're here, building your avatar, right? This should help you in that journey. So think about those things that make you you. I'm creative, I'm athletic, I am married, I have kids. We're on this adventure. So those things become part of your timeline. Now, we don't want to we don't want to have a highlight reel here, so we need to share the depth of our story. So you're going to write a big long line across your page, and this is going to be your timeline. Your timeline may be bigger than others, but I just right across the page. And we're going to start with right now. who you are right now. That's the most fresh. So the most perspective you have is right now. There's nothing to think about. How are you feeling today? Obviously, you're here. You're in this training. You know that you have goals. Who are you? I want you to start writing down some words that define who you are. So whether that's, I'm living courageously, I am going for it, I feel empowered, and I feel supported and strengthened. Use those words to describe where you are now. Okay, that's easy. But now here's where the story goes. We're going to build this timeline backwards. So the next event we're going to go to is how we felt before that. Okay, so we're going to add depth to our story. So before I found my beautiful angels in Team Courageous and my community of women, this is how I felt. I was, and then you can list those words. I was depressed, I was alone, I was lost, I was totally not me. These are my words. You can write down those experiences. If you would rather just like write down an experience and then go back to it and build that story, that's perfect. So for me, this would explain when I moved. A huge change and shift in my life. Okay, so we moved and we were living the vacation life. That's totally a different mood. So now we're going to keep back and we're going to keep tracking. Before we moved, this is how I felt. I was supported, but I was bored. I was comfortable. My life was pretty stale because we had everything we needed. There was nothing I was searching for. I was really busy, over busy, and I was underappreciated in what I was doing. When I thought I was giving myself, I was underappreciated in that moment in time, and that's really what kicked off our move. And so this is how we're going to connect it up. Okay, are you with me? Are you writing down your things? So I was just really in a stale time in my life. Nothing really was happening. Before that, I was pregnant, obsessed, because I had my second baby. It was the last one, so that's a high in life, right? Arrow was up. I was amazed. Everybody was oohing and awing, and everyone wants to know about the baby, and then suddenly you have the baby and no one cares. Anyway, so find those moments, track those moments, use those moments in your life to build your timeline. You can kind of like ignore my timeline, or you can be kind of writing yours as you go. But really the important part is to pick out the words that define that experience. So just by saying moving, okay, that you can't really relate. But if I say how it felt when I moved, then you would really be able to connect with that. Before that, I was a housewife. I was alone. I was overwhelmed. And, my husband worked a lot to give us all these great things. Therefore, where we are now. So let's keep working through. I'm going to kind of speed through because this is going to be where you take the time to build yours. Before that, we moved to the suburbs. We thought life would be perfect. Before that, we were young, married, or just making it, right? Like that was the struggle. It was us against the world. Another moment was a huge part of my story is loss. I had a pregnancy loss and I was grief. I had a broken. There's so many women that can relate. Find those moments in your story that are relatable, that there are other women out there feeling just the same as you, who are struggling, who feel the depression, and they just need that voice. You need that shining light, and it's you. And before that, I was a young college student. I was wide-eyed, I was focused, I was confident, and that's where I choose to stop my story. You have to choose where you stop and you end your story. The beautiful thing is that your story is going to continue to flow. It's going to continue to change. Obviously, I could add on to this. Like from where I am now, even a little small blip in my story where I know that I want to be a dependent woman and I want to have my business, I could add that in there because it really shows the financial part of the company and the mission that we have to bring to women. Let's see. Okay, so you have your timeline. You feel like it's there. You have words that describe how you felt. Okay, so you're going to slide that up to the side, and now you're going to start to think about those words that will connect out there, and we want to think in that not negative light, but how can you stimulate someone's heart and their mind to connect with you? So describing you and your life story, you're going to start to break down your I was. We'll take my first one, when I moved, because that's the most recent. I was depressed. I was alone. I had no friends. I had no one I could turn to. I literally was put in the middle of nowhere, and I was lost. That's your life story. That's where you were. And now I'm going to use, and we're going to turn that, and for all of those events, you're going to say, I am. I am confident. I am supported. I have found a team and a community that loves me fiercely for all the craziness that I am and accepts me for who I am and encourages me. And I know that I'm not alone. Okay. That's how your I am statement. So what do you do with these? Okay. So I'm going to share you just really quickly. We're going to go through it. Bob Heilig did YouTube. It was tweaked for sales, but I think it's really about sharing for maximum impact. I'm not going to read all these, but really all you're doing is you're using your posts, wherever social media place it may be. It could even be when you're talking with someone or having a text with someone. You're going to take that one thing, the move, and you're going to apply these 6 things to it to share it. So your then, your now. The main thing is going to be number 5 and number 6. So number 5 is going to be sharing your results and being really specific. So for me, the move was literally that I had women who I felt like were hugging me, but it was in a screen. That is what I needed. I needed that love, to know that those women would be there for me by text, by chat, by post. I wasn't just this figment in a community where I didn't really know these women. There was connection, there was tears, there was laughter, there was craziness, and that was my result. They will connect with that. They will connect with that meaning behind it. And the 6th one that's important is praising the system. If I never joined and just jumped all in and knew that Beachbody had this community, I never would have met you women. And Beachbody is the thing. No matter that it's not the workout or the shake, it's literally their mission and the community aspect of what they do. So you have to make sure that you praise the system and also the program and the training. If I did not feel dialed in, if I did not feel like my coach, like Corrine, cared about me and wanted to run with me when I said, let's go, then I would be at this alone. She and our coaches and our training showed me that I had faith that they were going to be with me every step of the way. And that's how you share your why. You have to make sure you add those things. If you leave those out, then it's really just a message about, you talking about how you're feeling and how you're feeling now. So make sure you add those when you share. I can link that video. It was wonderful. Okay, this is, I'm going to skip one, sorry. Okay, this was from our training from Shred Nation. If you have not watched that video, amazing. I'll post a link. I'll remember who it is. We'll type it in the chat. We just had that meeting with him. I don't know why his name's not on here, but now I'm like completely blanking. He talked about how to share, and that these are the most effective ways. Being relatable, be clear in your value. I don't want to repeat them. Go and listen to that training. It was amazing, and it legitimately flipped the script for me. I've heard most of these things many times. I mean, Corrine and I have talked about these things, but sometimes you're just not ready to hear them. And one of the biggest thing was the arrow about being postured. I'm only here 7 months. This is only like 6 months of me using Shakeology. This is only 7 months of me like using the program. I wasn't sure at first if I like believed in the malarkey, right? If I believed in it, if it was just magic. But you have to come to the time where no one can sway your opinion, and you have to be postured. And this was a wonderful way, and I knew it and I felt it, and I was like, yes. And you have to trust it wholeheartedly in order to share your why authentically. So make sure if you haven't watched that training that you go and do that as soon as possible. And so that's kind of where I wanted to kind of wrap. I was talking so fast. So let's do some question and answers. We can chat. I hope that you see like your unique voice is special. That woman is waiting for like your post to speak to her. She may be reading post after post for years and years and never say anything. And the women would tell me that, our coaches would tell us that, and I really didn't believe them until it happened to you. So finally that girl on Instagram that's like, I've been watching you and I need to do this with you. Like until it happens, it's kind of, you think it's unbelievable. But just know that they are there. If you have a growth mindset and the abundant mindset, there are so many people out there that need to hear your exact story, your specific story, so that it touches their heart. If you need a resource, remember we did the IG story sneak peek and we built those amazing tools for you. I actually use them for everyday posts. So if I know it's Monday, I'll go on there, and even if it's not IG, like who cares? Like I'm going to use it in Facebook, but obviously tweak it to that platform. But it's a really great like handy cheat sheet. So remember that exists. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out on the Team Courageous photos album site, and make sure that you check it out. So I think that's all I have. Let's see. Yes, I like talked so fast, but that's okay. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to